Hey y'all, welcome back. We are here today with Adara and Marquise Crawford, and we're doing a little segment that we like to call Dinner and Dialogue. And so we're gonna meet with this lovely couple, ask them some questions, let them ask us some questions, and just hopefully cover some things that interest you all. Just a little background information. Adara is our spiritual daughter. We've known her for a long time. Sweetest girl ever. If you don't know her, you're missing out. And so that just speaks volumes for who Marquise is, because he's very blessed to have her. And he's an amazing guy as well. And so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, have a little conversation. If you know anything about me, you know that I like to feed people.
Yes.
Good food, and so we're gonna have a little meal. I hope the smacking doesn't get to you, and we'll have some conversation while we eat. What do you got to say?
I ain't got nothing to say.
You have nothing to say, Eric?
Nothing to say. Let's get started.
So first, I just want to ask you guys about your origin story. How did you meet? While he dances.
Do you want me to start it?
Go ahead, I need a minute.
Okay. So how we met is different than like our dating story, so it's funny because we actually met for the first time in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I had just moved to St. Louis maybe a year before, maybe 6 months to a year before, and I was living with a friend of mine. I had like got my first apartment and a roommate, and she had invited me. Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It is good. It is good.
She had invited me to her church, and so the church that I now go to today, and it's a very loving church. So everyone
Where you go?
True Redemption Center. It's in Bell Fountain, Bishop Alton Davis Jr.
I've been, y'all.
Yes.
Spirit filled.
It's an amazing church, and so everyone they come and greet you and talk to you. And so Marquise was actually one of the people who I met that day. Him and his wife and his baby.
Yep.
That day.
Yep.
So
That did happen.
Eric.
That did happen.
Wait, rewind it. What did you say?
Yes, I met him at church, and Marquise was previously married.
I was married at that time.
And so, of course, I'm not looking at him in any type of way, and I was dating my son's dad at the time, completely infatuated with him, so I'm just like, I'm here for church, what's up? We actually, that summer,
I wasn't looking at her that type of way either.
Yes.
Let's be clear.
Yes. So one of my close friends, Courtney, and Marquise's best friend that he grew up with, Duran, they're married and a couple now, and they had actually invited us all to go to Six Flags. So me and my son's dad, Marquise and his wife, ex-wife now, and them two, all 6 of us went to Six Flags. And so that is how we technically originally met. But of course, you know, he is a saved man. He was about his family. I did. I went to his 30th birthday party, but I don't really remember much of it. I was just there to eat and hang out. So that is how we originally met.
This story has substance.
Yeah.
A lot of substance.
A lot.
It's funny how you meet somebody and not know what role they're going to play in your future.
Come on, you preaching already.
No idea. No idea that would be the man that I would eventually marry. So
I like it.
yeah.
So of course, some things transcended, like you and your son's father ended that relationship. Marquise ended his marriage, and you decided to give it a try, give it a go.
You want me to tell that part too?
So they broke
I would
up.
say because so let me tell my part,
Go ahead.
and then you tell how we ended up talking.
That's fine. I'll be almost done.
Because so my son's dad and I broke up, and I was heartbroken. I was in probably one of the lowest places I had ever been, just because I didn't want to be that person that had a baby with someone and it didn't work out, and now I'm having to co-parent, and I was just in just a really hard place. And so I had reached back out to the same friend Courtney and just let her know, because whenever I was with my son's dad, I stopped going to church, was just living my own life and things, and so her and I kind of drifted because she was living a saved life. Like we can't she loved me and I loved her. We just couldn't walk together. And so I had reached back out to her, let her know, like, hey, I'm in a bad place right now. And so she had invited me out to church. Was like, hey, come back to church with me. So I went to church. So that is kind of how the segue starts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell your part on how we ended up texting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah, that was fire.
Because you ate all your spaghetti and I've had none.
It is all gone. So, not coincidentally, but I'm going to say it by design, the day that her and her ex broke up, it was the same day that me and my ex-wife signed our papers.
Wow.
Exact same day. So, I had a friend, our friend Duran and Courtney, we had this friend that did movies, and she had a movie in the theater. It was I don't know who directed it, but it was somebody, it was local. So we went to the theater, and I was sitting in the back, because I'm by myself now. They saw me, well, I texted them, but I didn't think they were going to come back there with me, because, I'm chilling at this point. And I was like, so, I'm single now, so if y'all got any friends, let me know.
Right. Right.
Don't want to be alone.
Yeah. Like, I enjoyed being married. I need to be married. So then they were like, oh, we got somebody. You remember Adara? Yeah, I remember. Showed me pictures. All right. Yeah. Let her know.
I remember that.
Let her know. So they talked to her, and she said, why are married people always trying to go after me? Why are all these married people? And they were like, no, he's getting divorced now. And then she was like, oh. And then she started following me on Instagram.
You have to show the sign that you might be interested, so you go and like a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what y'all.
So that's what I did to his Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have Instagram.
Right. You telling our age.
I'm sorry. MySpace wasn't
MySpace.
even out.
Oh, y'all didn't have MySpace.
It wasn't even out
It came
when we
out
started.
later.
Yeah.
Later.
But yeah, so I liked a bunch of his pictures on Instagram.
Not
To
even
basically-
Black Planet.
Okay.
Oh,
you took
Black
it too
Planet.
far.
Not Black.
Okay.
I don't even know what Black Planet is.
Oh my! Now you're telling your age,
I
but
know.
also telling our age.
All right,
so.
I'm sorry.
You're telling our age, yeah.
Yeah.
But you went to.
You know Black Planet?
No, it's probably still active somewhere.
Exactly.
Hilarious.
Yes, Black.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
Really? You don't know?
No.
Oh, you gotta research it.
Okay.
It was a big
I'll
deal.
look that up.
No, you don't.
When was it? Like 2000, maybe?
Mhm.
Big deal, like maybe in 2000. Yeah.
In the 90s.
Was it the 90s? Oh. Okay, Marquise. You're having too much fun with this.
But yeah, so I liked a bunch of his pictures on Instagram just to like give him the green light, like you can
Listen,
reach
my
out.
interest is peaked.
Yeah.
Here
And
I
so
go.
he liked a bunch of my pictures, and I think she gave you my number, and you text me first, right? I don't know. I don't remember the nitty gritty
I
details.
think so.
That's
I
what
think-
we're gonna go with.
Yeah. He
texted
texted me first.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I think that initially, neither one of us thought that it would go the lengths that it went when we first started texting. I think we both were just looking for a friend and someone to text and talk to, and we connected fast.
And I remember
No, I was
that y'all
looking
had some kind of, I'm gonna say ins and outs. Like I remember when you kind of going on strong, and then you kind of backed up a little bit, and then you were strong.
He broke up with me
Okay, I was trying to.
a week before was it after my birthday?
It was after your
It was
birthday.
after my birthday. He at least celebrated my birthday with me.
Well,
and
that was
he
great.
broke up with me.
I had to heal because I jumped into a relationship right
Too
Wow.
fast. Okay,
That's
so
powerful,
that's
though.
definitely that's something
You was
that's
able
needed,
to
right?
notice that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
'cause I wasn't treating her how I knew I could treat her.
Okay.
So this is the reason why we thought that you guys would be a good couple for reasons like this, because we've encountered couples that have been married, they get a divorce, they get back together,
Mhm.
and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work.
Wow.
We've encountered people that they get in relationships like when they're high school sweethearts and it doesn't work, and then they decide to get back together and give it a try. But the in between, we always forget about the in between.
Mhm.
And just like you said, Marquise, like our hearts have to heal. we need to get better before we go and carry that brokenness into another relationship, which is going to not only make our brokenness worse, but hit them with their brokenness too.
Absolutely.
So we have baggage that we need to unpack
Mhm.
before we get into another relationship.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a beautiful thing. That was wisdom.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
And even in that, it challenged me too, because I have always been the type that I would just kind of sweep things under the rug. So it forced me into a healing that I didn't know I needed. Not even just from previous relationships, but even like childhood things. So that, you know, you go into marriage, the tea good.
Sorry.
You go into marriage with things already just because we're natural human beings. But being able to take that time to heal,
Yeah.
I feel like definitely set us up for success going into dating and yeah,
Absolutely.
all that.
And so that brings me to another question, because I told Eric that I thought that it would come up. How did your childhood and the relationships that you experienced, like with your parents or, you know, whomever raised you, how did that mold you into who you are in your marriage today? You want to go first?
You can
Marcus?
answer first.
Me answer first, okay.
Ladies first.
I think for me, I had never seen a successful marriage growing up. So even though my parents were married they didn't get divorced until I was 16, so I grew up with both of them. It was not a healthy relationship, and there was definitely lots of infidelity in the marriage. So I didn't even know you can have a marriage without that. Like, I just thought that's just what happens in marriages. I would say you and Eric are probably the closest relationship that I would see that got married and stayed married. So I think that was the biggest thing that I could say in a negative way that impacted me going into marriage. But because I experienced those things, I think that it made me want to make sure that I, for one, found a true man of God to marry, and then for two, do what I need to do necessary to get into a marriage so it can last.
For sure.
That's awesome.
That makes sense.
That's awesome. So for me, my parents have been married for 41 years.
That's beautiful. That's
Awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, so they, I've wanted what they have, like regardless of what they do, I didn't want to fail. Like, they made that commitment and they stuck by the commitment. I didn't reach that first time, but this time around, I'd say my childhood was actually the reason where I truly needed my healing from, because there were things that happened in my childhood that were affecting me as an adult. And if I would have took that into the next marriage, then it would not have succeeded.
Right.
So once, during the pandemic, once God revealed that that's what was holding me back, then that's where I started to learn to heal from.
Sure.
And then being delivered from that helped me to be more conscious of how I should treat her and how I should be better and grow in ways that will benefit our family.
Right.
Even having the courage to do that, because that sounds like a lot of reflecting on yourself.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was hard. A lot of tears shed when God revealed it.
And I think that's beautiful that God revealed it. Nobody else had to tell you. God revealed that to you, and then you wanted to work on it. You wanted to get better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I had to, because if I didn't, then it would have been another failed marriage.
For sure.
You know, the biggest thing that I hear you saying is that you took responsibility, even though you realized it was your words being a failed marriage, but you took responsibility to say the next time, well, even before next time, I want there to be a next time. There's going to be a next time, but when I do this next time, I need to make sure that I'm healed, I'm whole, and so I know what I'm stepping into.
That was exactly it. Regardless of what happened in the previous marriage, like, it didn't matter whose fault it was. I know that I can be better. And in order for me to be better, I need to work on these things, because that's gone now.
Right.
But now we got to focus on what's ahead of us. And like, if I continue to carry that baggage on into the future, then like, I'm always going to have that issue. So yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
we've talked to a lot of couples, and you know, some people have said that this is their second time around, and they were unsure, didn't want no part of it. Our thought, because it ended, we talked to singles, because it's ended, I'm not doing it again. And it may be because of fear, it may be because of what their friends have said, it may be because of what they went through that was so traumatic, And they haven't got that one thing, like, let the Lord heal me. He got to fix my heart in this situation before I step back into it.
Yeah.
Because I desire to be married. I want to be married. I want to be loved.
Yeah.
And so what I heard you say was that you knew those things about yourself, so you was able to identify them and say, how do I obtain them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's powerful.
Yeah. Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. Because marriage is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I understand the people that like are hesitant to not get back into a marriage, but man, it's so much fun.
Why is it fun?
There's a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons, but sharing life with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been like introverted. It's always been to myself, so I can just be alone all the time and like still enjoy myself. But enjoying that space with someone else is much more satisfying.
For sure.
It's much more satisfying. So like, I enjoyed that in the first marriage, and I'm like, it failed, but like I want that back. I don't want to lose that. So what do I need to do?
So, I mean, but for you seeing that side of it, and Adara saying that she saw the side of, I don't know what a real marriage looks like. If this is what a marriage consists of, I don't want no parts of it. But she didn't choose to do that. She chose to say that I'm going to look at a marriage that I know that it's possible and I desire it. You know, we have a lot of people that say, I grew up in a broken home. I'm never getting married. We know couples that have been together for 20 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the benefit, the unity, the bond, the things that it cuts off, and the doors that it opens up when you get married. I mean, it's truly, to live, man, our slogan, what is it? Marriage matters.
Yeah, we talk about the matters of marriage because marriage matters. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to start doing a podcast about marriage, because we encounter so many people that don't want to get married. And I mean, like, young people, middle-aged people, older people, and I don't like to say that it's a failed marriage or a failed relationship, because I don't think that there are any losses. There are just lessons, but you learn from it and you do better. Don't just, wipe your hands and say, I don't ever want to do this again. Because if you have a job and you get fired from the job, or you quit the job, you go get another job, right?
Yeah.
Because you want that money, right? So what are the reasons that I grew and my life was enriched? Because I shared it with somebody else. Just like you said, you loved being able to do that even as an introvert.
Yeah.
To be able to share with somebody, you can be yourself with her no matter what, and with no judgment, because she knew who you were when she said yes to you.
Yeah.
And so I just think that that's a beautiful thing. I think that you saw your mom and dad struggles and you still wanted to get married. You saw your mom and dad stay together, but you still saw them struggle, and you said, I'm going to do this. The first marriage didn't work. I'm going to do it again. It was a beautiful thing. We shouldn't give up.
Should not give up.
Yeah.
I mean, one of God's major commandments is love, right? And so why not do that with somebody else? Sharing a union, deal with that person. Admit that a wife enriches your life, that a husband enriches your life, and let's just get better together.
Yeah.
It's so much easier with two than it is with one.
Oh, for sure. 1000%.
So those are both beautiful stories.
Yes. And I would like to add that even when we did break up, we remained friends. That we were like best friends. We talked every day. I think there was like one stint where we like went a couple days without talking, and he was like, "What's up?" Like,
hey, why are you doing that?
yeah. All the way up until we had the conversation of, okay, I want to pursue this, and we went into dating with the intention to get married. That was the goal.
As it should be.
And so just being friends during that time, I think, added so much to. I would have rather have us breaking up, be friends, than us have jumped into a marriage before we broke up.
Sure.
So you understand the importance and the value of being friends.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Marriage is fun, but like just life in general, like I couldn't imagine being married to someone that I wasn't friends with. That would be so boring. Like what do they talk about?
What do you talk about?
Don't you? I used to go to restaurants with Eric and see couples that sat across from each other or next to each other, and they never talked. And I said, let's never do that.
Yeah.
Because like I need your conversation. I need your input.
They just in their phones or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But see, I believe that it's because of, I'll just say the situations that take place in a person's life doesn't always able them or give them an ability to identify what a true friend is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they don't know what a true friend is or how to be a friend, then that part definitely blocks in a relationship where they don't realize that I've taken what I thought was a friend and tried to implement it over here in a relationship where I should have a friend. I'm wondering why is it failing? It's because one, there's nothing there. I don't know how to be a friend to them. It can be one-sided, or there's just people out there just are terrible about being friends.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but so to
true.
hear you say that and put emphasis on it, it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't know that Talia was my friend, then I would be offended sometimes. If she didn't know that I was her friend, she'd be offended sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though we are husband and wife.
Yeah.
We definitely go that extra mile, as you should, for a friend, and also give that grace, that understanding.
Yeah.
And all that. So
be able to accept the criticism better. Yeah.
Especially because I know your heart, I know your intention, I know that you're not trying to hurt me, and so I can take the criticism that you give. And in the past, I was not good at taking criticism, and so it's even been a work for me and Eric for him to think that I'm not already jumping to that he's thinking the worst of me immediately, because I used to, the defensive walls would come up right away, so what'd you say?
So how did you combat that? How did you get to where you are today?
Being open and having communication and telling him when it happened, this is how you make me feel when you say this, or I'm not that same person. That was 10 years ago. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Think about it. When's the last time you saw me do this or act this way?
Yeah.
Because I was an angry person anyway, so it was easy for me to jump to the defense when something would happen, and also just because my heart was guarded from things in the past, and if there was even just an inkling of that same thing happening, if I felt like that's what it was, and immediately I'm ready to lose it because of that. So it also took a lot of patience on his part to deal with me, and it still does.
Again, knowing that she's my friend, she is who God has given me to walk through. And I ain't just saying it because we on this podcast, but she is who God has given me to walk through life with.
Yeah.
So in that, even if it's, I may be upset or short-tempered, or she may be upset or short-tempered, it is still my job to protect her, care for her, love her through it. Even if it takes a minute and I gotta say, then I can come back. It's who we are. I realize that I gotta protect her. I gotta take care of her. I gotta nurture her through thick and thin. The same way she gotta do with me. So, she says that it was 10 years ago. And we did in real life have some of those conversations. And, then I had to realize, I had that moment I did see some growth, or love her through it, or she had to love me through it plenty of times, plenty of situations. So, it's it's a give and take.
Yeah.
When we talked to some friends of ours, and they were just saying about, they had a concept of just take, never give. And that is a wrong approach.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes, the willingness of, I gotta learn that I can't just take.
Yeah.
I found out in marriage, and not in a bad way, but I give more than I take.
Come
And
on.
I'm sure Talia gives more than she takes.
Yeah.
So, and it just balances out.
Yeah.
In a relationship.
And we also don't measure it.
No.
I'm not in this to say I give way more than Eric gives me on any given day. In reality, he probably gives more to me than I give to him. But you know what I'm saying? Who's measuring?
Yeah.
And why are we measuring? Why is it a competition?
No, but like you said, Mark, he said marriage it's a beautiful thing. I don't
No,
we couldn't get you some more.
I'm good, thank you.
We can get you some more. But yeah, so go ahead. What's the?
Well, that something that Eric just said made me think of another question. So I don't want to throw you off kilter, but he said that I am the one that God gave him to walk this life with. So how did you know you had a marriage that did not work and was ready to jump into a relationship? You had a relationship that didn't work, and you were heartbroken, hurt. what made you all know that Adara was the one, that Marquise was the one, and also gave you the confidence to go with that? To say, this is the one, I know that this is the one that God sent to me, and I'm about to do this.
Okay. I talked to my friends that were married for, or were having successful marriages at the time, but that were still married.
Yes, this boy is smart.
I
Smart.
had to learn. I had to grow. So I was asking them, I'd ask them questions like, how did you know? And one of my friends said that he knew when he didn't want her talking to anyone else, and that he couldn't go without talking to her. And when she brought up another guy, he got jealous. He was like, "What are you talking to her for? That's mine." So, I knew when I didn't like going a day without talking to her.
Okay.
It's like I don't do this with any other woman that I've talked to. Like I need to talk to you before the day ends. I want to make sure that I talk to you before the day is out. So even as a friend, if I ended up with someone else, I couldn't have that type of relationship with you, and I don't want that in my life. So I'd rather have you.
Beautiful. What about you? I know, and you deserve it.
I think for me, after that relationship ended, I became very observant going forward, and just did some inner work to where I didn't just accept any attention, because I think that was something that was easy for me to do, just be willing to put up with things just for the attention. And so I watched him. So because I was going to the church, I watched how did he worship God, in our conversations. How did he talk about God? How did he talk in general? How did he carry himself? He's a father. How was he with his daughter? Because I have a son. So just watching him is a big was a big thing. But then just kind of what sealed the deal was in that friendship time. Like Marquise really took time to learn who I was. And I don't know if I ever had that before, where people are like genuinely interested in like, what are your interests? Like, I feel like he could tell me what I like before I could. I'd be like, what did I used to say my favorite color was something?
Purple.
Yeah, I was like, my favorite color is purple. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, how are you going to tell me what my favorite color is? He was like, look around your house. Like, I think everything was like this rose gold blush color. And he was like, everything you get is this color. Like, that's your favorite. Yeah, purple is not your favorite. So just, and it sounds so minute, but to me it was huge because somebody literally was taking time to get to know me for who I am, not for what I can give, not for what I can do, but just for who I was. And so that was a big chunk of how I knew, you know, I can build with this person.
And so obviously your attraction was very God driven.
For sure.
You wanted to see how he worshipped and how
Yes.
he acted in church and the conversation. That's beautiful.
Yeah, because without God in the center, and I knew this even as someone who wasn't married, if God's not in the center of your marriage, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's just not. Because
say it louder
yeah.
for the people in the back.
And I can see even now being in marriage how quickly God can get out of the center.
Yeah.
And how you can put yourself in the center.
Yeah.
And so I had to, because I'm like, I'm not about to out here get to know people. Now I done had a baby with somebody else. So I can't just be out here. I gotta, like, if I'm gonna date somebody, it gotta be someone that's worth bringing around my son, and then also worth my time and what I'm worth.
Right.
So you said that you have a son, or you have a son, you have a daughter. So that's what they call a blended family.
Yeah.
So how's that working out?
We're learning.
It's
a
interesting.
process.
Yeah,
It's
it
interesting.
is.
I think we're working together well,
Okay.
but it's including the other parents. That's the struggle, because everyone has a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And if we're doing things in our home a certain way, and then you're going to your other parents' house and you're doing something totally different, and you come back, now we gotta work, we gotta get you back on track with how we do things here, and that can cause frustration, confusion. It's difficult, but it's it's still manageable,
Yeah.
and it's a learning process.
So, go ahead.
Wow.
I was just
That's
gonna
how
say,
you know you've been
y'all are
married
in
for a long
sync.
time. That's how you know. Like, I know this person.
I was just gonna ask, so what is like a coping mechanism for that when you know that this is?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think we're still trying to learn that. And maybe with you guys being a blended family, you guys can even speak to that. I think, and the dynamics are different because we have Avery, my son, I would say 100% of the time. His dad doesn't live here in St. Louis, so he goes and visits his dad in the summer. While Alea, our oldest, her mom does live here. So there are certain days of the week that she's there, and it does seem more of like a 50-50 type of ordeal. So I don't even know where I was going with what I was saying about that.
You're still learning.
take your time.
Yeah.
You're still learning, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say that I heard you say, and just listening to what you're saying, you referred to Leah as you guys' oldest.
Mm-hmm.
So you took that responsibility. I think that's major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says a lot because, you know, just as hard as it is on the parent, it's that much harder on the kid.
Yeah.
You know, to learn two households and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and now I got to start looking at, another father or another mother,
Yeah.
you know, and just deal with that and process it.
Yeah.
We did many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it does come with some challenges,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Even
also,
now, still, I mean, it's still different now. even as when the kids are adults, it's still different.
but it also came with a lot of reward too. So
Yeah.
it definitely has a upside.
Yeah.
And for you, I was gonna ask. So now you all have one together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did that? How are the kids dealing with that?
Oh, they love it.
They do.
They love
Yeah.
it. Our oldest daughter, she's been wanting us to have a kid for a long time.
Okay.
And, you know, Avery
Big
is just
sis.
like, yeah. And she wants to hold her all the time, feed her, change diapers,
Little mama.
walk the
Mhm.
stroller. I'm like, it's our baby.
Calm down.
They should be like, that's my baby. No, you're 11.
Yeah.
Your baby's over here.
It's not your baby.
But I will say, even with us having a baby and having conversations about having a child together, there are those thoughts of, okay, well, we are a blended family, so how will Alea receive this baby that's my baby, but they have different moms? And then even from my perspective, I had that fear of, okay, will Alea feel that difference? Because there is truly, I mean, I absolutely love Alea, but there is a different connection with Alea versus
for sure.
Avery because I biologically gave birth to Avery.
There's a
And
different
so,
love, for sure.
yeah, and so same with Mila. I gave birth to Mila, so when I have two daughters, but there's a different connection with my two daughters, and so will Alea feel that? And so that was a fear having a baby, is I don't want Alea to feel like, man, Adara loves this baby more than me, or just see those differences, because there is. Yeah.
And so when you asked maybe if we could help with the coping mechanisms, mine was kind of the same as yours. That I'm gonna love this child like it's my own.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to make a difference between that child and my biological children. And I had to remember, she didn't ask to be put in this situation. I chose to be with her father, and so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it work, and it didn't always work. I mean,
Yeah.
but I was still sincere in everything that I did, and probably it ended up that maybe some days she got better treatment than my own, because I was working hard to make sure that I always treated her the same.
Mhm.
And I do truly love her with all of my heart, and I could say today that we're friends.
Mhm.
We are good friends today. It's nothing for us to get on the phone and just stay on the phone for hours shooting the breeze just because, laughing about who knows what and whatever. But that was one thing, and then another thing was that we had to learn that we can't control what goes on in the other household.
Come
So
on. Yeah.
although we might have a stronger foundation, or we may have a crazier foundation, whatever happens in our house is what happens in our house, and you're gonna go by our rules when you're with us.
Yeah.
But we know that we can't control what goes on over there. We can try, and we tried the communication thing, and to be on the same page. But at the end of the day, we just had two very different parenting styles, and so we just had to kind of leave a lot to the imagination whenever she left our home.
Put it in the
But
Lord's hands.
exactly, but she also knew what the rules and the standards were when she was back at our house. So
Yeah. I'm gonna work to get there.
it takes work.
Exactly.
Marquise does a lot better because I never want. I guess I look at it like, if I wouldn't do this to my kid, I don't want it done to Alea. So if I'm gonna do this for Mila, if I'm gonna do this for Avery, I would want this done for Alea, and so it's hard for me to separate. The when she goes over there, I expect those same standards. So that is truly something I have to work on.
For sure. That'll do it in due time.
It's easier with Avery because I've been around him since he's been 8 months old. So it's like, this is my kid.
Yeah, I think Avery just now maybe it was about a year or two ago. Avery just put together. Wait, if my dad is different, that means my mom and dad were together at one point, and I was so like it yeah. It wasn't that long ago because he's only knows me and Marquise together because that's what by the time he could have memories, he knew me and Marquise. Even in our friend stage, we hung out all the time, and Marquise was that father figure in Avery's life, even as a friend, and so that's what he knows. So it's been recent, but Alea remembers her mom and dad together. So I feel like it's been harder in that aspect because she wants to see her mom and dad together. She doesn't have to pick whose house or whose weekend is she going to go to. So,
and so when you keep that in mind, it also makes it easier to just love on them because there are decisions that they should never even have to face, right? Am I going to stay with mommy on Thanksgiving or go to daddy's? You know, that's hard. Yeah, it's very hard. So,
yeah,
I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Well, absolutely.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
You got anything next? You need some questions? No? Okay, so the next thing that I was going to ask was if you have any advice for couples that are like yourselves with a blended family that's, maybe been married before and getting remarried. Do you have any tips, any advice?
Yes, give me a second. You got it.
I know it'll be
good. I would say a big tip, and this is even a challenge for myself, because I could see you get married and you kind of get in this mundane routine and you kind of fall off from things that you used to do when you were dating or engaged. So like having those conversations, like we would chit chat all the time, and then you find yourself getting to your routines at home and may not talk as much anymore. So just always keeping that dialogue and that communication open is a big one for anyone, and just talk about how you feel.
Talk about how you feel. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Trying to word it correctly.
There's so many tips.
Take your time.
Allow the Lord to order your steps.
You're gonna be preachy.
It's okay.
Always keep God first. And when you can't navigate on your own, give him the will. Don't try to do it on your own because you're going to fail every time.
That's good.
If you are afraid to try again, find out why. And if you're struggling, if you have tried again and you're struggling, find out why. Continue to work on you. Continue to allow the Lord to shed your pains, your hurts, your struggles off of you so that you can be a better person. And when you're a better person, then you'll gravitate, like you'll be you'll be attracted to, and you will attract like-minded people that want to grow themselves, that want to build and be better themselves. So keep pursuing, keep growing, keep building, don't give up, and always, always seek the Lord first.
There's so many people that I feel like that try to muster up courage, to find the courage to even realize that they have to debunk the beliefs that they've had that they know aren't working, but because someone has told them that, whether it be mama, sister, auntie, uncle, or whatever, it takes courage to even say, I don't believe in that.
Mm.
So when you said that you got to trust God, you know, there's some people who think they trust God, they really ain't trusting God. So you said you really, really got to let go and let God. If you are struggling, you know you're struggling, but sometimes it takes courage to even let go of that and say, I'm struggling.
It does. It does.
I think y'all was
Yeah,
right.
right there.
Sorry about that. We had to have a little break, a little halftime in there. So as you can see, we had a new guest up here, and
Oh, I keep looking over here like that's the camera. That's not the camera.
Miss Mila Jade.
Yes. And
She got a famous name, Mila Jade Crawford. She
and
gonna
her
be
beautiful
somebody.
self.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
Jesus' name. Speak that.
Yep,
said-
this is our worship
Speak
baby.
well.
Yes.
Speak well.
She said, "Bring me on the camera. I
There you
need to
go.
see the world."
There you go. There you go.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Big
oh,
sneeze.
bless you,
Wrap it up.
honey.
You got one more?
Good job, Mama. She got it out.
As you can see, all our attention has went elsewhere. Before we stopped, you know, we were just talking about different types of relationships and what people believe in, and even if their beliefs are bad, they don't want to abandon them. I mean, and I believe that there's a level of comfortability there. It's a level of, you know, really you can just say, I didn't know, or I wasn't aware, or this is the way I believe and you ain't gonna make me change it. Even if it's going against somewhere that could catapult you into a blissful future.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, it's hard out here. For some,
Yeah.
for some that choose to seek mentorship or choose to allow God to intervene in their situation.
Yeah.
So for you guys being, how long you been married?
3 years in February.
3 years in February. And
Lord willing.
Lord willing, that's what I'm talking about. He got y'all.
Yes.
He got
And
y'all.
we were at the wedding, guys. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
It was so fun. That was a fun day.
That was
a great day.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
We love weddings.
The Joneses love weddings.
We do love
I always
weddings.
say that.
So what would you say is your biggest accomplishment since you've gotten married?
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I feel like so much has happened since we got married. Like there's been, I mean, the amount of favor that happens when you get married.
Speak on it, sis.
Man,
Just
the
listen.
wife findeth a good thing.
And obtains what?
Favor.
Favor.
Amen. Favor.
That's a real thing. That's real.
Let me
That's
just
real.
take a minute to say again, this is one of the reasons why we do the podcast, because we encounter so many people that don't want to get married, don't want to get married again, that don't believe in marriage, that don't think it matters, and so we want to focus on why it's so important, why it's so good, what you get out of it, and you know you don't do it just to get something out of it, but so much comes from it, and so I just think like that it's we want to highlight that you both have been through it in different ways, and you still wanted to get married, you still wanted to try again, you still wanted to be loved and wanted to give love, and you've been successful.
Yes.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Bless the Lord.
I would say, I mean, you can look at accomplishments in a few different ways, because you can look at it like physical accomplishments. I mean, Marquise has become an ordained minister since we've been married.
Bless God.
He's an
That's
elder
awesome.
at our church now. We bought a house. In our first year of marriage, we bought a house. And
Well, and also your career,
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
growing and doing well as a photographer,
yes.
and an awesome job opportunity at a job that you had left.
God keeps elevating.
Yes,
Yes.
promotion after promotion for increase. Like together, we make the most money we've ever seen or made before. But just, I think the biggest accomplishment, we're still married.
Right?
It's so easy to just
Give up.
give up. Like it is so easy to just say, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. And I think that no matter if you've been married a year, 2 years, how long have you guys been married for? That is a huge accomplishment. Just because there is work.
Right.
Yeah, as much, I know we
Hard
talk
work.
a lot about the fun thing, but it is work. You do have to every day choose to be that person, to love that person. So
And be intentional.
being intentional, yeah. So yeah, I would say we had a baby.
Right.
And her story, I mean, is a miracle. Like, I went through a lot in my pregnancy health wise, and then had to get induced at 35 weeks, and so she was technically a preemie, and she didn't have any NICU stay. They said that when she was born, she couldn't hear out of one of her ears. She can hear out of both of her ears today in the name of Jesus. So she is doing good.
Praise
Okay.
God.
So a
So
lot
you
of
talking about me?
accomplishments. Any accomplishments you want to add?
We still communicate.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, we're not afraid to communicate and confront.
I wouldn't say it.
Adara,
I wouldn't
like,
say
she don't
that.
like confrontation.
I do not like confrontation
but-
at all, and I think you
but-
guys know that.
We are still willing and open to have dialogue when there's issues or
Mhm.
just checking in, making sure everything's good, and if it's not good, like, so what do we need to do?
Right.
How can I help? How can I help you if you're not okay? Like, what do you need from me? I think that's a big accomplishment because it's so easy to be like, well, whatever you're dealing with over there, figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here. So
I just want to commend you as a man because I know from conversations with her how well you take care of her and how well you take care of her heart, and she's not ashamed to say at all the things that you do for her and
I'm
how you care
bragging.
for her.
thank you. I appreciate you. She
I
takes
think
care of me
I think
just
it's
as much,
important
if
to-
not more.
To hype your man up.
Mhm.
Like,
sure.
that's who we are. Like, we are, as a woman, we're a lot of things, and nurturers. We nurture our children, but I think we should also pour into our husbands.
We hype you up. You fine.
It's our job.
Girl, you so bad. You so talented.
I love it. I love it.
You help me.
You know, it's it's good to be able to laugh together too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, sometimes, well, a lot of the time, until they just be riding in the car and something will happen, and you know, she's falling out her seat in the
It's
car,
silly.
laughing, I mean, just cracking up,
silly,
man.
dramatic.
And we be like,
All the things.
I don't even know if it was really that funny, but you know, we have a moment where it's just nonstop laughter, and it's just like look at each other and be like,
Yeah.
it felt good. So that is definitely important.
The best
Yes.
medicine.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely important.
And I think one thing that we have kind of made as almost like a mantra is, or mantra, how do you say that word? Mantra, mantra?
Good job.
It's
Something-
whatever you want
yeah,
it to be.
Yeah, one of those words.
Right.
Yeah.
Is
What you want.
it's us against the problem, not us against each other.
Come on. You
So-
like that.
That's good.
I like that.
You need to put that on a shirt.
I can't
sis.
take full credit for that. A friend of ours said that one day, and I'm
Okay.
like, I am using that. I am thinking about that because it's so easy to point fingers at each other or just think like we're arguing so we're against each other. It's like, wait a minute, like what is the bottom line problem here?
Yes.
And let's work together for that versus fighting each other.
Yeah.
What's
we,
that
we
gonna
want to
get
say
us?
that we are the solution.
Mm.
A lot of times,
Yeah.
'cause God blesses us to be a solution for
Oh,
people
that's
and for
good.
their problems, and so you have the answer. If you
Yeah.
just stop, breathe, relax, think about it, you have the answer.
Yes.
You just have to slow it down.
Yeah.
Don't let all the feelings and the emotions get in the way.
That's good.
You sleepy?
She is.
She said, I'm tired of y'all talking now. I need some attention.
So I think that we've kind of covered all the things. The last thing that I said that I was going to ask is if you had any questions for us. And that is unless you guys have something else to add, because if you do, please do.
Oh man, we can talk for hours.
We can.
You did a great job.
What has made you guys want to continue in your marriage for this long? Because I'm sure you've had your ups and downs and want to give up.
You took my question.
Well,
I mean, he's fine.
that's a reason right there.
Yes.
You know, when you okay, let me just say for give you an example. Me and Talia have built so much together.
Mm-hmm.
When I say build, like we all know the steps of building, like
Yeah.
laying down a foundation. Our foundation has been cracked before.
Yeah.
Finding a good substance to put in a place to seal that crack, we've done that.
Yeah.
It's cracked again. We've had to do it again. We put down framework. It's been burned down.
Yeah.
We've had to rebuild it. We put up the drywall. It's been tore up.
Yeah.
We had to get
Lots
more
of holes.
drywall. We put the roof on. Then we put the shingles on. So what am I trying to say? We've built so much, and we realize the building together.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been being able to have, I'll just say, like an out of body experience, and really see the favor that God has placed on my life to build with her.
Yeah.
I don't want to fumble the in that. I done about fumbled the ball a few times, but in that, and not realize that God is saying, I've given you a helpmate.
Yeah.
I've given you 5 beautiful children. I've given you a beautiful wife.
That's a lot of kids.
You're right.
We should have had more. We discussed this. 2 to 3 more.
I've given
We
you.
blew it.
I've given you opportunity, but also I've given you someone in a good way that you can serve, because God is all about helping others out.
Yeah.
But just as much as I help Talia out, she helps me out 10 times more. So I am blessed to even say that she's my wife. So for to give up on, so you say give it up on marriage. We used to say in the beginning, it was like we were just too dumb to know that we should have quit.
Too dumb to divorce.
But looking back over it now, all that we built together, and she's my friend, and she's my lover,
Yeah.
she's my wife. I mean, she's everything that I need her to be in the times that I needed her to be it.
Yeah.
She was able to be it for me. Well, of course, with God in there, because I was hard-headed. I was a knucklehead. But I also know that it took a special person to put up with that with me. So, I am first saying thank you to God and thank you to Talia. So, I mean, I done came this far. Why would I walk away from something that's been such a blessing to me?
Mm-hmm.
That I've been able to be a blessing to, that we've been able to build on. We went through some hard times together, like looking at each other like, how are we gonna figure this out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what we gonna do next? And God has always blessed us to be able to come trusting Him and being able to come out on top. I don't know if I would. I know I wouldn't rather go through with someone else to be like, I gotta relearn them. They gotta learn me.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That I gotta build all over again. When I can say that, so I went through a sickness and I watched my wife like love me through it, like love me back to life. And so, to even have that opportunity to see those things and understand, because sometimes you can see something you just not understand it, but I understood. And I understand now that, God is saying, boy, I feel like God, He loved me.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do for you. We have been together on and off about 30 years, but married for 26 years. So, I mean, that's a long time
so awesome.
to be, to put all in one podcast as to why. But,
your whole adult lives.
pretty much.
Because y'all were teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my answer is just simply that I can't imagine my life without him, and it's it is something that I it is something that I ask people that come to us a lot of times when we counsel, and they say they want a divorce, or I don't know if I can do this, and I say, let me ask you this: can you imagine your life without him? Can you look 5 or 10 years into the future and imagine that Eric's not there? Because I can't. Like, what we built, I expect for him to be there every step of the way. And if I have an accomplishment, if I have a failure, that's who I want to call on, that's who I want to lean on. And I know that I have more accomplishments and probably more failures in my life. And who do I want to share those things with? Who do I want to help me get through those things? I want it to be him. I don't want it to be Joe from off the street. You know, it's just this person that knows me better than I know myself in a lot of instances. I want to be able to come to him, call him, text him, whatever it may be, because we've dealt with things when we're together. We've dealt with things if we're in different cities for jobs or what have you, but Eric is always that person. And so even you'll call and say, Talia, I'm pregnant. And I'm calling Eric, Adara's having a baby. You know what I'm saying? That's my first person that I call.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine not having him to do those things. And so, yeah, that's my answer. I don't want to do life without him. Can't imagine it.
Love it.
Love it.
That's beautiful.
It is.
We all are on your way. It sounds like you're there already, actually.
Oh man, blessed. Hopefully. I mean, I know it's gonna be. It's. I mean, it's been 2 years. It's gonna be tough.
But it gets better.
Struggles. Yeah.
It gets better. It really gets, even through those struggles. And I always like to say, like, remember where God brought you from. Because if you remember where He brought you from, it's always better now than what it was then. So we only get better in Him.
Yeah.
And you have Him, and you're utilizing everything that God has for you. You're putting it to good use. You're using wisdom. You're using discernment, and you're doing it together.
Yeah.
It can only get better.
But also, and I'm not saying you guys aren't saying this, but you don't want to sit around and wait for the bad times. Like, I know they're coming. I know they're coming. I know they're coming. You know, even if when those bad times come, you're still focusing on the good times.
Yeah.
You're still remembering the good times. You're looking forward to the good times.
For sure.
You know, one of the things that I hear people who say they want to get married, they don't know if they can trust the person. They, you know, their expectation is so high. What are they bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? We started and there wasn't no table. You know what I mean? We didn't have no table. So, you know, it's a molding, learning, step by step type thing. But it's still a beautiful thing. It's you know, you deserve it. You know, I would tell the world that you deserve somebody. You can have somebody. There's somebody out there for you. There's somebody out there that's waiting for you. There's somebody out there that says, I'm going to love you unconditionally.
There's somebody for everybody.
Absolutely.
And you deserve the best, and they deserve the best that you have to give them. And it only gets better because you grow and you develop as an adult or as a person or in God. And so everything that you have in you, all the good qualities that you saw in Marquise when you first met him, haven't they gotten better? And vice versa?
Yeah.
For sure.
So you've watched them turn into that person that is growing and moving and expanding. Like you said, there's no way that it would take a lot for Eric to disappoint me. And I mean, I trust in God. But I do trust my husband. I feel secure. I feel safe with him, and I trust him with my heart. I trust him with my life, and you know what I'm saying. And so, with that being said, then I want to give all those same things back to him. So
I was gonna break out into a song, but
let's hear it. I know what it was
I trust in God.
I knew it.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
Definitely can't sing.
Marquise be singing that song.
Sing it.
That's a good song. That's a good song. Well.
But I have another question
Come on,
for you guys. Sorry.
Come on with it.
How? Because we talk a lot about marriage and working together, but at the end of the day, we are still our own individual person. And so, how do you guys navigate when you have a need and you're empty? So, like your cup is empty, and you're both in that position. Because I feel like a lot of times, Marquise and I, we will run into where we're both empty at the same time. So how do you pour into the other person or allow them to have the time to fill their cup back up?
Honey, I'm going to need you to get it out right now because you are all over our business right now. Because, I mean, we're currently going through a season where I feel like we are kind of empty in a way. Go ahead.
You know, for me, it's over communicating, becoming a better communicator. I have to, even though I may be in that season or that moment of, we'll just say, emptiness, I have to be able to communicate it to Talia to know that I'm there. Like, I can't communicate it on the level just because I understand it, because I feel it and I know I'm going through it. I have to be able to tell her, this is where I'm at, this is what my thoughts are, what are your thoughts, and vice versa. Like together, like what we need to come up with a plan to help each other, and I believe that comes with time, that comes with understanding, that comes with wisdom. But it's not something that's so far gone that you can't just start implementing it now. Like she said, we're going through a season, so there's times where, for example, I may be like feeling down or something, and I'm just like, this is what I'm going through, babe. Blah 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 blah. Just let me get it out.
He just vomits it all out.
This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I think. Just listen. I just need you to listen, and this should begin to dissect it, or it should just be like, man, I'm there too. I've been feeling the same thing. Yeah. And so at that moment, it really is kind of like an aha moment. Like, oh, you mean tell me you've been going through this too, or?
And unfortunately, it's a symptom of being on one accord. That you might both be, because you're going through the same season, you're both feeling the same way because we pull off of each other, right?
Yeah.
And so what I do is I'm always in a position to pour. I never want there to be a moment when somebody calls me and needs something and I can't give them something that they need. And so I'm always praying and saying, God, give me the words to say, give me wisdom to answer these questions. But because I put myself in a position to pour constantly, I'm also in a position to be poured into constantly. And so I seek godly counsel. I have friends that I know serve God and that could give me good information. I have him. I have mentors that can pour into me. You know what I'm saying? And I stay in my word, and I like Eric knows, he'll get in my car and I got somebody preaching to me. I'm always reading devotional. You know what I'm saying? I stay in a position to be poured into so that I can pour out. That's so you everything that you go through in life, there's something in the word to combat that, even as husband and wife. And so you have to fill yourself. You have to stay full so that doesn't happen. And I'm not saying, none of us are superhuman.
Yeah.
So those times are always going to come, but you should be able to pick up the phone and call somebody or go visit with somebody, and they can give you exactly what it is that you're needing in that moment.
Just to piggyback off of what she says, I was just telling, it was one of my sons or something, we were talking the other day, and I was talking about, when I go to the gym or something, usually listen to music, and I got a podcast or somebody preaching to me or something that I'm educating myself on to help replace that void that I'm, or at least begin to fill up that void. Because your body will yearn for some things, and your spirit will yearn for some things, and it's saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. And so you have to be sensitive to even what your cravings are in the spiritual and in the natural. There's like, I'll be in my office working, and I'll put on instrumental music, but it's like it's spiritual inspiration, because I'm changing the atmosphere around me. What I got going inside of me, I'm feeding it with the things that I know that are going to be good substance. I mean, so it's not uncommon that both of you get to that place, and like Talia said, when you're on one accord, you may arrive at that same place together, but that could be God telling you, okay, there's something that I need to get y'all's attention on, because y'all got to build from here.
It's also probably him telling you to take a vacation, because I just felt that very strongly right now that you need a break.
Yes.
So you should probably take a vacation.
You are hearing from the Lord. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Getaways are imperative as a couple, as a married couple, and me and Eric, we haven't gotten to, but we used to like try to go away and, pour into each other, like write out our visions, discuss them, make plans, and, it just needed to be me and him. Me and you spend time. I mean, sometimes we go places with other couples, but we have time off to ourselves to do these things. So, you guys should take a vacation.
We need that.
Hey, we should go to LA.
I would love that.
Look at here.
No, because he's trying to move you there.
I am.
He almost got me when we went. Until I walked past one of those signs where it talks about how much a house costs.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
How much rent costs.
The Lord will
one
provide.
bedroom for $3,000.
We're not going to go until the Lord says we can.
Amen.
However, He'll provide when we get there. So you just think about
It's not a provision thing.
Hey,
For me. I get it.
It's like we're not doing that.
Just think about that sunset every night.
It is beautiful.
It's a beautiful sunset.
So vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about relocating right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Relocation.
Bring
Gotcha.
come back. Bring it back.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Got you.
Vacation.
How do you
Beautiful.
give room to your personal interests and spend time with each other? How do you make room to do both?
What I think you're asking is, how do you? So for me, let me just put it this way. So for me, I used to play the game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're asking? Like something that I like doing?
Something that you like doing, yeah.
Okay. So for me, I used to play the game a lot, and Talia would be like, come in the room and look at it and be like, and just be like, here we go again. But we came across some wisdom one time. Somebody said, why don't you just go join him and go sit in there with him while he plays the game? Now, I did not know that was going to require me to go sit in something that she enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, yeah, why don't you come in here and just sit down with me while I play the game? And for me, I began to realize that it was something that she needed at that time. And if I just submitted to what her need was for me at that time, then I would still get my time that I needed to go do the things that I needed to go do. Where even if it was, we're sitting in a room like now, we don't even have to talk to each other and we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Versus me just feeling like you invading, or this is my time. I need my time. I need my time. I need my time. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but I had a lot of I needed my time,
Mm-hmm.
but when I didn't. When I needed her time or wanted her to become part of my time, she's like, "Oh no, you was ignoring me," and so I had to figure out a good balance.
I'm telling y'all how petty I am. You see that on this?
No. I had to figure out a good balance because I think everybody needs their time, but I just always made room for her to be able to come into my time.
Okay. Yeah.
I made it a welcoming for her to be able to come into what, Talia?
So let me say this. He had a lot more outlets than what I had as a mother, as a wife, as the house needed to be tended to, as cooking needed to be done. I mean, homework, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was all the things to everyone in the house. And so Eric wanted to play the game. He liked to fish. He wanted to go play ball. And these are, of course, was our younger years. Yeah, the gym. And I still felt like I still have all these things to do at home. And if I don't do them, they're not going to get done. So I don't really have the time. And so, of course, as I got older, I also understood how important his time was to him. But also I understood that I needed to take that time regardless. And so with maturity came me saying, go fishing. Please go get your time. Like, I never want you to be overwhelmed, especially by me and the idea of me, because I know that I'm needy. Like, I need attention. I need hugs. I need your voice. I need all those things. So please go get yours and get what you need so that when you come back, I can have you back.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, I could, honestly, if things were quiet, I could just get away in a book or something, and that's just cool with me. A book or a movie was good with me, and then eventually I started doing the gym, which was like torture, but anyway, but yeah, I think you have to make time for those things. Even like we make room for our gifts, you got to make time for your mind, for your personal peace, so that you can still be the husband that she needs you to be.
Yeah. So that's perfect, because same thing. Like, I need my time to decompress and play the game.
Eric, he could go just ride sometimes,
Ride or sit.
But understand also that that's overwhelming for her, because the baby, the kids, the house, just life is just overwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
So I believe that's why you have to be purposeful in doing and setting aside those times.
Yeah.
You guys may not be able to do it now, but like, it's a big deal. I mean, Talia go get in the car and ride.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I may come home and go in my office and she may be in the living room.
Yeah.
But I've already spent that time. I'm not saying that the office is off limits to her or the living room's off limits to me, but you know, it's being like I'm going to purposely set aside time if I can to spend time with my partner.
Yeah.
And as life goes on, you feel like, or you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that we need less alone time and more together time. And our together time is our alone time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, but it's with different seasons of life. So you know what I'm saying? We've raised our kids and worked and done all the things that wear you out. And so now it's like I want to be in your skin.
Yeah.
I want to be in your space. You want to be in my space. Let's do it together. He sometimes gets upset when I'm like, oh, you can just go and I'll do this. But I mean, some of the most random things are times for us to spend time together. Going to the store.
Yeah.
Going to get dog food.
Yeah.
Let's go together to get dog food.
I forgot to get him something.
So I mean, as life goes on, you'll see it'll change. Things will change. Your needs will change. Your wants will change. But probably in this season, give me some space and let me just have some time so that I can recharge and come back and be exactly who you need me to be.
But believe it or not, y'all, those are the exciting things about marriage. It's figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You can write a book on a marriage. But everybody's marriage is just going to be something that's different in there, and I think it's designed by God so you can figure it out. Because how do you know what you're made of if you don't ever go through that?
Ooh, you
gotta be tested.
Say it again.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta go through something so you'll know when. Oh yeah, I made it. Oh yeah, I can give you advice on that situation. Oh yeah, I can show you how I walk through that situation.
Yeah.
I can tell you that you may go through something similar. You may go through something worse. You may not go through something that even adds up to it. But in that, you still have to figure it out.
Sir, you've been in my message all week. This whole time I thought I got to teach Wednesday, and you've been all in this marriage, all in the marriage on there, all in my message. Bless God.
It's not me, sir.
Yeah, cool.
But
Because it's not about us at the end of the day.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Everything is about Jesus, and everything that we have is for somebody else. And so once again, get poured into because it's our job to pour it into somebody.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
My God.
support, push, pray,
encourage,
and build. I think that is the good foundation to start at, and enjoy each other. It's definitely a blessing, and for us, we got grown kids that want to get married, and I can't wait till the day that they tell me I found somebody. We got one married. I need all 5 of them to be married.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen. So
quickly.
I'm looking forward to it. So
expand the family.
Yes, I'm excited about it.
if you guys don't have any more questions, are all minds clear?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. Well, we thank you all for joining us again here on Keeping Up with the Joneses, and we hope you enjoyed this conversation. And like, share, and subscribe, and we appreciate you all.
Look for Adara on TikTok, y'all. She's popping.
Oh my God.
Viral.
Oh my
And
God.
together, oh yeah, them together.
Funny.
That's them. That dynamic duo right there. Look them up. What's y'all TikTok name?
What's your TikTok name?
Mine?
Yeah, I only got 100. Follow me. Okay.
No, we're just gonna combine Dars.
Okay.
Because mine's Adara J. Crawford. We can just change it to
Adara Marquise.
something.
All right.
Or go follow him. It'll make him feel good.
Yeah,
Go follow him.
Soul the Seeker. SOULTHES. That's not the camera. SEEKAH.
You heard it here.
And then we'll combine it.
Go follow that man. Go follow that man. All right. Till next time.